Hi there, folks. It's me. Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. This is not right. Oh my god, I forgot that I have the monitor. We're staying here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dice Check. I'm Bricky, and today I am joined by nobody. It is just me because we are talking about my armies, my factions for the new points changes. Is this video a little bit late? Yeah. Is that normal? Yeah. So we're going to be talking about this a little bit. Demeki's going to be coming home pretty soon, and we'll be talking about his armies and also be getting some battle reports for you all, probably uploading around next week or so, I'd say. Two of them in the pipeline at the moment, so it should be some good stuff. But we're talking about my armies today. Now, we've already covered two of them. We've covered the Custodians and the Necrons, so we're already done with those ones. We already prepped those ones up when I talked with Garrett. You can find that video in the it's there. You can find the video on the channel. So today we're going to be talking about probably three, maybe four of the factions instead. The Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, obviously my personal favorite faction. The Astra Militarum, a close second. It's actually vying for second place along with Guard and Night Lords, but that would be Chaos Space Marines. Not so much talk about there. Then we have the Leagues of Votann, also a pretty short list. And finally, I do want to touch on the World Eaters just a little bit. I don't play much World Eaters, but I have played a bit of them on Tabletop Simulator, or I don't own them, but I have played them on Tabletop Simulator, and they're a much smaller army anyway. I've also fought them a lot, so I thought maybe I'll give my 2 cents. It won't be great advice or anything, but it'll be something. So let's start with the long one, because this is obviously the most important one to me. Sisters of Battle, Adepta Sororitas. Yeah, obviously. So I have a little change log thing done by a lot of the people over on, I believe this was from Reddit. Because it is from Reddit, please take it with a grain of salt. Not everything here might be correct. Some of these things might be wrong, etc., etc. I'm going to squeeze these over here real fast, and bam, look at that. So some of these might be missing some stuff, but for the most part, Sisters have been really underperforming. I had that tournament where I went 4-2, felt really proud about that. Probably should have only gone 3-3 because of that last World Eaters game, but for the most part, I feel pretty good. I think in Warhammer, with the exception of a couple outliers like pre-nerf like Votann or pre-buff Votann and Death Guard, for the most part, if you're a skilled enough player with your faction, you could generally go like 3-3, 4-2, maybe even once in a while 5-1 at your local grand tournament. I mean, we saw AdMech players going like 5-1 a few times over. You know, like, it's possible if you're just good at the game. It's like using an underpowered weapon in a shooter. You know, if you're just good at the shooter, you know, you'll be fine. So, while I'm not like stellar of a player with Sisters, I feel like I know them pretty well, and so I was pretty happy with my performance. But despite that, they were not great, and they got a plethora of point drops across the board. Oh, it's just the one. I thought that was the second page. Will it be enough? Well, we'll determine. So Astrid Thurga went down 15, Arcos down 5, and also I'm assuming that this is also with the per squad size type thing, depending on how they are, because 3 Arcos, you know. Canoness down 10, Battle Sisters down 10, Castigator down 10, Crusaders apparently went up 5, I guess maybe to make them less spammable. Dialogus went down 5, Dogmata went down 5, Dominions down 10, Exorcist went up 10. No, it went down 10, didn't it? Do I have the wrong? Damn it, Reddit. I knew I couldn't trust you. All right, I found the old points here. Okay. So the Exorcist went down 10. The Crusaders did go up 5 though. So that part is true. But the Exorcist actually went down 10. It was 170, now it is 160. Other than that, the Hospitaller and Magifier both went down 5. Same with the Missionary and Preacher. The Paragons went down 40. Morvenval went down 10, Junith went down 10, Immolator went down 15, Novitiates 5, Celestine 15, Rets 15, Repentia 10 and 20, Rhino 5, and Triumph 25. So it's a pretty big drop across the board, not in the sense of like one thing got a huge drop, but just in general things kind of went down. There are a couple things that I didn't see get drops. The Zephyrim, I think, are a little bit mediocre. I kind of would have felt they would be better if they were dropped 5 or so, 5 or 10. Seraphim, I think, are totally fine because they have jump, shoot, jump, which is really, really good at bouncing around and getting where they need. So I'm actually pretty cool on Seraphim. But I feel like for the most part, you're not really running Celestine unless you're running her with Zephyrim. I mean, I guess you can run her solo, but for the most part, I like her with Zephyrim. And dropping her down 15 is cool, but it's not the best without the drop to Zephyrim. Overall, I'm happy with the fact that a lot of the points were dropped. The Crusaders going up, I think, was just to stop spamming 2-man 20-point squads and putting them on objectives. I did that a lot, so I totally get it. There were some things that I was happy went down. Astrid Thurga went down 15. I think she should have gone down 20 because what she does is she gives a unit dev wounds, which dev wounds in their own right have been dropped in power. You will only ever run Thurga for dev wounds on Sacristan squads, often a 10-woman squad, and they didn't go down. So like it's like fine. It's nothing particularly great. I actually didn't mind Thurga. Thurga plus Sacristans is kind of a trap, but I actually didn't mind it with Thurga, Sacristans, and Triumph, because then at the end you would just grab every single 5 and 6, because you could alter the dice with Thurga, and just throw it at something and be like, you know, with the maces or 2 damage. So if you had 5 of those, you're like, here's 10 mortal wounds. But obviously dev wounds are different now, so it all depends. Castigair going down 10 is cool. Candace down 10 is cool. Battle Sisters down 10 I actually really like. I actually think Battle Sisters are really good. They are a great Miracle Dice generator. There are a lot of bodies with a good armor save. And they don't have particularly great hitting weapons, but they're good at clearing some chaff. And, you know, you could stick a Multi-Melt on there, and Multi-Meltas aren't amazing, but they can sometimes do something. I actually have been kind of enjoying a Heavy Bolter on them. Just 3 shots, sustain hits 1, which kind of counteracts the -1 to hit sometimes, like half the time, and you just pop, 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 get a couple of shots off. Not too bad. I don't really mind them. Sometimes I like to give them a Condemner bolt gun or combi weapon, because combi weapon plus Canoness is kind of fun, because then you can reroll it and you might get like a mortal wound or 2. Well, it would be a dev wound now, but you get the point. There's some other great stuff there. I've actually always kind of liked Arcos. So 3 models, what used to be 45, now 10 for 130. There is a weird Arco combination where you take them with the Preacher, and then you pop their Extremist Protocol, 130 points plus the Preacher, which is, where's the Preacher? Right here, 40. So it's 170, and it comes out to like 60 attacks. With full twin linked full rerolls to wound at like 501 or something, with sustained hits and full and +1 to wounds. It's kind of hilarious. It's not maybe the greatest thing in the world, but it might just tear apart a full squad of Orc boys or guardsmen or something. You know, it's just kind of fun. And they're not too like squishy either. They have a 4-up Feel No Pain with the Arcos, and then you got the Preacher. It's a fun combo. Dominions went down a bit. I don't like Dominions much still. Them having Scouts and being utilized with the Palatine is like fine, but really none of the special weapons you can put on them are particularly fantastic. Melt-A-Guns don't do what they used to. I have seen like Quad Flamer be kind of neat as like a cool Overwatch possibility, but I'm still not too hot on Dominions. I am actually shocked that so many characters went down. A lot of them deserved it, but I didn't expect the Dialogus to go down. She was already really good. I'm a little surprised. Also, the best thing the sisters had by far was Triumph, Dialogus, Ret Squad. Right, that was the best thing possible. And then the Triumph, the Dialogus, and the Ret Squad all went down. I kind of expected drops everywhere else except for those, but they did anyway. Now, granted, I think the Ret Squad should have gone down in general. I think they were a bit overcosted. But the Triumph, I thought, was basically our best unit, and it went down 25. 150 to 125. It's pretty substantial. Drop another 5 for the Dialogus, and then drop another 15 for the Rets. You know, for your average regular old combo, you're saving 45 points on that, which is not nothing. Then Morven Vol and the Paragons went down a collective 50 points, 325 for the combo. I think it's actually looking pretty tasty now. That being said, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't really think this is gonna be enough. There are a couple combo or models that I kind of wish went down along with them. Mortifiers and Penitents are good, but a 5-point drop I wouldn't have scoffed at. I don't think the Demonifuge or, you know, Stern and Kiganel are really that good either. I would have taken them down 10. I think the problem for the, okay, there's a couple problems with Sisters right now. I will say Dev Wound Change helps us out a lot because Sisters are a bunch of high armor save, low wound models. And the way to deal with that is 2d6 mortal wounds, because then a Wraith Knight wipes the whole squad, right? Like easily, it's not even difficult. A Forge Fiend easily wipes a squad. Hell, you could split fire a Forge Fiend and do like all kinds of horrible things. So the change to Dev Wounds is really nice, and I think actually helps us out more than most. But I think our detachment rule, despite me kind of liking it, isn't the best. You know, the game is still kind of killy. We're not left injured as much as I would like, especially not below half. I kind of want GW to change the way these rules work, because Tyranid Crusher Stampede just came out and it has the same problem. It's always below half. I think I would much prefer if it was half and below. You know, you have a 10-man or a 10-man squad of whatever, or you have a big bug that has 18 wounds. Once it hits 9, that should be when the stuff kicks in. Because there's a lot of really good synergies, I think, in here that just don't go off because of that rule. For example, Morven Vol and Paragons. I'm thinking too much NIDS. It's a 4-woman squad. So you kill 2, they still don't get their buff. You kill the last one, well, now it's just Morven Vol. And guess what? Now that Morven Vol's alone, she's not below strength either. So she doesn't get any buff, not even the +1 to hit, which doesn't matter much, but still. So it's even worse. And so you get a lot of these moments where you are at half, but not below half, and you can't reliably be below half. Ironically, one of the best things I saw was the Triumph and her squad of 10 girls, because she would just kind of exist with this giant wound soaker of these like 10 girls soaking up wounds. And occasionally I would have 2 sisters left and then the Triumph, because I would be saving things. And the next thing you know, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, 2-shot multi-melt is kind of something. But for the rest of the squads, it's not really anything. It really should be at half or lower. You know, I think that along with the core rules, there should be a rule that says whenever there is a rule that dictates below starting strength, it is instead, or below half strength, it is instead half and below. Because like Penitent Engines, right? Penitent Engines. Why would I ever take 2? If I take 1, then when it's hurt, I get +1 hit. And if it's under half, I get +1 to hit and wound. If I take 2, I can only ever get +1 to hit on one of them. That's all that would ever happen, because the other one dies and then whatever. And what's even worse is that if one of the Penitent Engines is injured in the two-man squad, I get no benefits. Where if I had, like, I like to take 3 individual Mortifiers and 3 individual Penitent Engines, and then if they're hurt, I get all the bonuses. And then if they're really hurt, I get some serious bonuses. That's great. It really needs a change. And I think that would actually give the sisters a much bigger lease on life. I like our strats. I actually think after this points cut, we have a pretty good volume of stuff. Like our army size is pretty good. But I think we just need some better rules and synergies. And the Martyr Lady one, that would be a good start, is the half and below. That would be a huge help. And I think it would really, really assist sisters in general. Also, we don't have a whole lot of dev wounds, and we also don't have free stratagems, which is part of it. Because, you know, no free strats is, well, you know, it's a good thing. But free strats aren't as common anymore, but I run Junith every chance I get because I need that CP. Reviving a sister's character from the dead is insane. It's so good. It's so good. Divine Intervention is an amazing stratagem. Anyway, I like the change. It's in the right spot, but I don't think, like, if they just keep on lowering the cost of our units, it doesn't assess the problem. The problem is, I think, our current detachment rule, and no, that's really it. I would love to see what this is like playing at half and below and seeing just how that goes. You know, just in general. Yeah, that's sisters. I still love the army a lot. I still like a lot of the rules and how they play, but it does need a bit more power. So we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, I forgot Repentia went down. Yeah, Repentia went down a lot. 20 points at a max squad. Repentia are cool. They hit. Anyway, moving on from sisters, let's talk guard. The Astra Militarum. Unfortunately, I could find nobody to give me a guard point change system anywhere on the internet. So we're gonna go with Bricky's knowledge here. All right, Astra Militarum. I can't find it, so I'm literally gonna pull up an Auspex Tactics video and just see what he said, because you know what, we're homies, and I'm sure he'd be okay with. So, all right, guard. So guard was an army that was, if you were building normal guard, not doing great, and if you were building parking lot artillery guard, was doing decent, but not like top level. Who would have get? You know, I was wondering why this felt blurrier than normal. There we go. I was wondering why I was. God damn it. Actually, the Astra Militarum was doing kind of middling, but with bunch of artillery guard was doing very good. So we're gonna check out the main changes here. If you've ever seen me play guard, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of parking lot guard. I like my infantry. I like my mechanized infantry. I like my classic, I like my Valkyries, like my Scions. I like lots of stuff. For the most part, the core rule changes don't change much to guard. They didn't have a ton of dev wounds, but they also, granted, will not be the recipient of too many painful dev wound splash things. There were very, very few situations where guard had feel no pains against mortals. So I'd say that the entire change to dev wounds is an up for guard, because you can't just eliminate an entire squad as easily as you could before. The stratagem thing is also important. Where is she? Ursula Creed is the only one I know that gave you a free strat, and notably, she did not change in points. But the battle tactics strat that guard have is Fields of Fire, which I think is actually a very good strat. Probably their best, if not Armored Might, which is the -1 damage one. So it's pretty good that she kept that one for battle tactic strats. As for the things that got point drops, you'll find that a lot of artillery actually got point increases across the board, probably to stop that parking lot guard situation. Now, I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think that there will be a whole lot of changes to your overall points, because if you were taking, say, unless you were just doing massive parking lot guard, like 9 artillery, you still had to have, probably, even if you had 9 artillery, even if you had 9, you probably had to have some infantry and maybe like a Lehman or something, you know, and some characters. So I think it evens out, because the Manticore went up 25 points, which is a pretty substantial increase. And then a lot of the Forge World units went up. The Rapier Laser Destroyer, the Tarantula, the Earthshaker Carriage Battery. A lot of the Forge World artillery went up. But then certain things like the Basilisk didn't change. The Wyvern didn't change. I don't think heavy weapon teams had a change. No, they were the same. Same with Field of Ordnance Battery. So if you just ran a bunch of, admittedly, if you're you're a Kriegsman fan, just a little siege, you know. If you're a Kriegsman fan, you're probably pretty sad about this because a lot of these are like kind of Krieg specials, especially the Earthshaker carriage and the Medusa. So some pretty heavy nerfs on those, but I think it still evens out at the end as long as you were taking a somewhat balanced list. And if you were taking nothing but artillery, I mean, sucks. I don't really feel for you that much because artillery in this game is ridiculous. So sorry. But for me, as a more like infantry kind of guy, drops down the board. Infantry squad, where is it? It's literally coded by alphabet, and Bricky is still doing this. It went down 5. All right, it went down 5. It's probably right in front of my face. It's right there. There it is. It went down 5 points, or 10 points with the larger squad number. So yeah, it went down. It went down from 65 to and 130 to now that, which is pretty great. Kasserkin went down a good amount too. They went down 20, which is pretty solid actually. I didn't really expect them to go down that much. Scions went down as well. They went down 5. Good old Catachin and Cadians both went down 5 as well. Actually, Catachin went down 10, I think. They were 60. Yeah, they went down 10. So it's actually pretty good. Cadians and infantry are both 60. They have their own different roles. Catachin are now cheaper because they were a little weaker. And now Death Corps are more expensive because they were also stronger. So Death Corps are a bit, they're unchanged technically, but they're more expensive than the others, which makes sense because they are better. And these are a bit more fair. Bulgrins also went down. That's fine. Ogrins also went, actually, Ogrins dropped a lot. They went down 10 for the total. And Bulgrims also went down 10. Ogrin might be all right as like a meat check, like just try to get through all this kind of stuff. Rattlings down 10, meh. Rough Riders did go down 10 as well, though. Lots of good infantry drops. Also, a lot of characters dropped too. The Cadian Castellan, I think, went down 10. The Commissar went down as well. But the standout here, in my opinion, by far, is Iron Hand Strachan. All right, Strachan. I'm gonna need Auspex's help with this one. All right, characters. Strachan went down from 55 from 80. He went down 25 points. And I don't think you realize how good Strachan is with a squad of Catachin. Because now Strachan plus Catachin, the base squad, is 110. It's 110. 165 with the full squad. Okay? If you roll up, I gotta open the app because this is just hilarious to me. Because he actually punches. If you roll up with Strachan, which I would highly recommend you do, so the Catachin Jungle Fighter's ability is that they get +1 strength and AP on the charge for the unit, the whole unit. Now, they don't hit much. They only get 1 attack each, so 10 of them is 10 attacks on 4s at this time 4, 1, 1. Now, granted, they can take a bunch of flamers, which is, cool, I guess. Or, yeah, you get 2 flamers, which I guess is kind of cool. They do get a scout move, which is kind of fun. But Iron Hand Strachan, in particular, has the ability to give lethal hits in melee, which is fun. And he can re-roll the hit and wound roll on the charge. His melee weapon is 622, 6 attacks on 2s. But it also has anti-monster 4 up. And because it's in a Catachin squad, that gives it +1 strength and AP. So it's 6 attacks with lethal hits at 7, 3, 2. And then another 10 attacks at 4, 1, 1, hitting on 4s with lethal hits. And that's for 110. Like, that's not bad. He also gives orders, of course, so you can give them fixed bayonets for getting +1 to hit. So it's on 3s for the 10 extra attacks. But like, for 110 points with 2 orders, like, it's not bad. It's pretty good. And then you pop on out, you fire some las guns, maybe you throw some grenades, who knows? You fire 2 flamers in there, God knows what. He's got a shotgun that has like 3 shots. What is it? 3 shots at 402 for some reason. And the plasma pistol, if you feel like it, like Strachan kind of bangs. All right. Well, it's Strachan. I mean, if anyone's gonna bang, it's gonna be Strachan. That's not true. He's probably quite ugly. He's missing half of his body, but you know, he's like a hero. Past that, the Commissar dropped, you know, the drop 5, the Castellan drop 5, as I mentioned already. Nork Deadog, my boy, dropped 10. Love to see that. Gaunt's Ghosts dropped 15. I was actually pretty hot on Gaunt's Ghosts. Kind of surprised they got dropped. I actually like them a lot. Worth running, I'd say. Yeah, 100 points for these boys for some of the best books in 40k. Hell yeah. And then past that, you had the tanks drops. Almost all the tanks went down 10 to 20. 15 to 20. Thanks, Auspex. I feel like I'm cheating on a test. I'm like, Auspex tactics down 15 to 20. No, honestly, like for the most part, dropped a pretty good degree. The regular Lehman Russ battle tank is 180, was 195. Demolisher down. Eradicator's only 160. Punisher, which is the rotary cannon one, is 160 as well. Kind of like that one, not gonna lie. I've always found Execution or Exterminator. I think it's the one that gives you +1 AP at what you fire at. I always like that one. I'm glad it's down because I think it was kind of expensive. Also, the Rogel Dorn went down. The Rogel Dorn went down 25 points, and it was already kind of good. I think the Scout Sentinels actually went up. Yeah, I think it went up, which is fine because they were pretty darn good. And it drops the artillery power a little bit. Baneblade went down a bit. The Super Heavies went down a bit. That's fine. They can't Overwatch anymore, which is a big part of that whole thing. So, you know, it's whatever. Tank Commander went down a lot. The Tank Commander went down 35. 35. Which is impressive. They also have one of my favorite guard rules in the game, which is called Death Befitting of an Officer. Which is one, just like that name. That name goes hard, but that rule name goes so hard. But basically, what it is it's they have voice of command, of course. They can order within 12 inches, so they can give it to another squadron unit. But when they die on a 2-up, it can shoot its entire arsenal. Death Befitting of an Officer. So that's kind of cool, and you know, you obviously can give orders, which is great. So it helps out with that, but, you know, shoot on death is not bad. 205 is not cheap, but it's not bad. The Valkyrie went down. It's still kind of dog. I'm kind of sad about that. I like the Valkyrie a lot, but it's still kind of terrible. But other than that, I mean, I'm curious how this is going to go for guard. Leontis hasn't been changed. He may have been allowed to drop like 5. But I'm actually really curious to see how this is going to go for guard, because if you were running a good bit of infantry, you know, you're probably down 30 points or so. Your tanks dropped 15 to 20 points. Tank Commander is looking really good right now. Scions went down, which is great for popping things around the place. I don't necessarily think Chimera went down. I don't necessarily think that guard are going to be great after this change. This feels a lot more like I mean, probably won't make us great, but I'm happy for it. I feel like that's kind of the sentiment I have. Or we're like, oh, yeah, not bad. You know, tanks going down a lot. It's pretty good. Probably fit an extra Lehman Russ in your list after all this. And like, yeah, it's cool. It's not like incredible, but it's cool. So that's kind of where I'm ending up at. It's cool. Okay. Now let's go with something that I'm a little bit more versed in. Where is it? CSM. I want to talk about CSM. Damn, I got a lot going on, don't I? There's a lot more here than I thought. You know what? I'm gonna split this into 2 videos because I've already been chatting for a while. Let's do a small one. Let's do Votann. Let's do Votann, and then I will save a list for or a video for CSM and World Eaters. And then we can talk about them later, because there's actually a lot to talk about in Chaos Space Marines, like a lot. All right, Votann. Let's talk about Votann. So, Votann sucked. They were so bad. So bad. So bad. Votann then got a massive change to their detachment rule that allowed them to put not one enemy unit with 2 judgment tokens, but 4 enemy units with judgment tokens. Which, getting +1 to hit and wound army-wide on 4 of your opponent's units before they can even begin the game is genuinely insane. And I just didn't expect that, you know? I expected maybe a change to just how judgment tokens worked. Like, you can put another token on somebody in the beginning of the battle round or whatever. I didn't expect, like, here you go. You start with 2 tokens, try 8. Try 8 tokens. 2. Eat shit. It caught me so off guard. And they got points drops, substantially large points drops. It's hard to really just kind of go into. It's not hard to just explain like what this is going on here. The Iron Master went down 10, Thunderkin went down 20 and then 40, Zerkers went down 35 and then 70, Einhir 15, Hearthguard went down quite a bit actually. I kind of thought they were okay to begin with. Grimnir went down 10, Warriors went down 25, which I'm really happy about. Hecaton went down 25, Pioneers went down 15-30, Call 20, Sag 20, and then Uthar 25. So I think that you gotta remind yourself that Votann are not meant to be Horde, nor are they meant to be what's the other one? Say like Elite. They're supposed to be regular. I guess you could run them Horde if you wanted to. There's tons of Hearthkin warriors. But they're supposed to be like Admech, Sisters, maybe Necrons. Like, it's just a normal army. It's not Elite, it's not Space Marines, it's not Stodians, but it's not Nids, Guard, and Orcs. It's supposed to be in the middle ground. And I do think that maybe Votann could bring not quite enough, and they should have been allowed to bring more. And I'm glad to see that they are now able to bring a lot more. For the most part, all the characters going down is really good. I was shocked they were as expensive as they were. Especially Uthar and the Call. Uthar still is terrible. He himself is just, in my opinion, a very bad character. The Call outranks him in use just in all kinds of ways. The Einhir champion I don't much love either, but you kind of need to take him if you want to make Hearthguard as good as they are. And the Grimnir, I actually did like the Grimnir, and he went down 10. The Brokir Iron Master with Thunderkin was actually a pretty solid combination of a unit. And them going down from a 6-man unit and the 5 of the Iron Master going down a collective 50 is crazy. The Zerkers going down 70 total is just bonkers to me. Because if I'm not mistaken, let me double check on my good old Votann stuff. The Zerkers are not good, but they're not terrible. So they have a 4-up fight on death and also a slowdown move if they hit you with the mole launcher on a 4-up, that is, which is, you know, good. They're T5, 2 wounds, 5-up feel no pain, like a 6-up save, just like not really a save. The mole launcher isn't bad. It's just some extra attacks, but their weapons, like, they kind of hit. The concussion maul is 3 attacks hitting on 4s at 9-2-3. And the rest of them is the plasma axe with 3 attacks at 6-2-2 or a sweep at 6 attacks at 4-1-1. And so having 5 of these guys roll up for 100 points with 15 attacks at 6-2-2, that fight on death, it's something. Like, just an angry box of a land fortress rolling up and then running out Zerkers is kind of scary. Though I think the thing I was the most surprised about was the Hearthguard going down. I didn't really expect that because the Hearthguard I thought were easily the best unit in the Votann's arsenal. I guess I could have expected them to go down maybe like 10 and 20, but 15 and 30 actually more than I expected. Sagittar down is cool. Pioneers down, also cool. The happiest I am personally is the Hearthkin Warriors. I really like just like dwarf spam. I really enjoy just 10 units of Hearthkin Warriors, a bunch of 10-man squads of dwarves with all their guns and just going to town on people. I find it very fun. And hell, even 6, because battle lines cap out at 6. And going down 25 each is substantial. You know, I like to run 5 squads of them before, and so I've went down 125 points from them alone, which then nets me another whole squad of Hearthkin warriors. You know, you add that and you drop all these extra points. Like if you had a 10-man squad of Hearthguard and the champion, you're down, what, 45 more points on that. If you split up some warriors in a Sagittar, you're down to 20 points. You probably ran like 1 or 2 calls, so you're down 20 to 40 points. You know, you're fitting in 200 to 300 more points into your list, which is pretty substantial. And along with the token changes, I actually think Votann are one of the most improved factions. I think Death Guard beat them out. That new Death Guard thing is pretty crazy. But I actually think you can take Votann to a tournament and have a genuine chance of doing damn well. You may not win, but I think you'll do pretty darn good. You don't have a whole lot of CP regen and other kinds of ways to get free stratagems or anything, but I don't know if you really need it. As far as I'm concerned, the Votann guys are looking really good. I think I need to paint them up more because you know me and my painting. I'm so bad at it. I'm so slow. I think I might get some. I might literally just find someone, like a local person, and be like, hey, here are my finished models. Here's the paints I used for them. Do it this way. And then I'll just, you know, commission that and have it done for a game or two. But I would love to bring them on the table. Votann are a faction that I have a lot of like for. They're not my favorite faction, but just the way they play, the chunky, shooty dwarf thing about the angry dwarves is so good. And they have such a character to them. I love their more traditional sci-fi attitude. And so for the most part, I think Votann will actually be in a spot that can actually put in good reps with. I probably even say that they're probably a lot better than, well, they're probably a lot better than Sisters right now, but they probably beat out Guard too, as far as I'm concerned. I like them a lot. They have a lot going for them. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to talk about CSM and World Eaters probably in another video I'll film later. And I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for watching Dice Check. I think we're gonna move into a more hybrid style of content creation, talking about armies, talking about like maybe some painting stuff, you know, lists and things, and then supplement that with some more battle reports as well. Instead of making battle reports like the main thing, you know, a bit more discussion. I'm gonna get Demeki on to talk about his armies. That'll be Drukhari, Death Guard, and Dangles, the Dark Angels. And a couple others because he has way too many, but mainly those ones. And go from there. Thanks for watching. Please sub and join the channel if you like, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.